going to go to the ugly tonight and stay in division as well, and that is with the Dallas Cowboys, who were Dakless in their loss against the Philadelphia Eagles. I hope I didn't see that too quickly where it may have sounded like something else. This franchise is in disarray, isn't it? It's in disarray, and we're going to maybe not talk about really what they're currently like, but what their future is going to look like. But, when your offense only puts 146 total yards, 49 passing yards, 97 rushing yards against this Eagles team, who, they are getting better, this Eagles team, but a lot of people have said in the first place that they're not the strongest Eagles team at minute, James. But, let's talk more about this whole franchise as a whole at the minute in this season. The 24th best offense, 31st in rushing yards, 32nd in rushing touchdowns. And then on the defensive side, 31st in rushing touchdowns, 27th in rushing yards, 22nd in passing touchdowns. Like, this is a real big fall from grace at the minute. In my brain, they have two players. And that's it.
Wow. That's bold. Which two?
Cooper Rush and Micah and CD.
Yeah.
I don't see where else you can be positive about this team in any area.
No, I mean, they've had good stories over the last few years in different positions at cornerback with Diggs and with Deron Bland and everything else, but that's sort of fallen by the wayside a little bit. Look, I was watching a clip from Rex Ryan the other day, and he was like, the Cowboys need somebody who understands the Cowboys at head coach. Mike McCarthy, are we all pretty confident saying Mike McCarthy's done? This is it. Sorry, Mike. Thanks, but no thanks. See you later. So they're going to be making a coaching change, and he was bigging up getting Deion Sanders in. And this is Rex Ryan, who likes to come.
Ryan said that.
Yeah, he likes to come out with crazy statements, and I know that. But he was like, he understands the Cowboys. He understands what that franchise is. He understands what they're about. He understands how the sort of glitz and glamour and everything is part of it. And he understands Jerry Jones and yada yada yada. But it's really hard because I don't feel as though the Cowboys need more spotlight. The Cowboys need a guy who is a solid offensive-minded head coach, and they just don't necessarily need a Deion Sanders who has done good work where he's been, but I don't know if he's a great head coach, because the thing for Sanders for me is that when he goes to a team, high school, college, whatever, better players will go there because he's there. But that ain't going to transition into the NFL. You wouldn't move to Dallas and move to the Cowboys because Deion Sanders was there as head coach, this big question mark guy. And you've got Dak, you are kind of stuck with Dak because he signed this contract. So I've seen people calling for drafting a new QB. Well, that seems ridiculous at the moment. Other people would take Dak's contract on. I'm not necessarily saying that they wouldn't. It's just such a massive expense, what they've given him so recently, to then go, nah, you're not our guy. Jerry Jones likes him, and Jerry Jones gets the final say. So they need to make it. They're going to make a change at head coach. I wouldn't go looking at the college guys at the moment. I'd be looking in the league, and I'd be looking at who are the best offensive teams at the moment, who's got the best output, and I'd be looking at the Texans and Slowick and the Lions, and there are other teams around the league.
You don't think, you were saying about solid-minded offensive head coach. When you said solid-minded, I thought you were going to say solid-minded, someone who could stand up to him, and defensive head coach being Bill Belichick. And I'm not. That's not me taking the mick. Honestly, that's what I thought you were going to say. Because actually, the two coaches who've had the most success at Dallas have been the ones that have challenged Jerry in Bill Parcells and Jimmy Johnson. And that Bill did. Now, I don't know. It's a headline. Obviously, a lot of people have been speaking about Bill going back into coaching. I don't think he will personally, but
I'm not convinced.
You're not convinced by that then, no?
No. I think he's got great gigs at the moment, and it's not that I think he doesn't he wouldn't want to get back into coaching maybe at some point. I can't see why Bill Belichick would want to go and work for Jerry Jones. Belichick wants to be the guy in control, and Jerry Jones isn't gonna relinquish any. We've seen that he's so stubborn. You see the clip with CD this week. Missing the catch in the end zone, and he's like, I couldn't see a thing. And he's like, would you want a curtain on that window? And he's like, yes, 1,000%. And Jerry Jones is like, oh, well, it's not like we don't know where the sun's going to be in our own stadium. Let's just tear the whole thing down and build it to start again and make it more friendly for the players and stuff. But like a cover wouldn't be like the worst thing, but the worst idea. Leave it open for the opposition and close it for your own team if you want to be a knob about it. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's just so stubborn, and I just don't know why a Bill Belichick would want to go and work there. It seems crazy to me, given what we know about Belichick and how much he likes to control an organization. So I think you get a young guy in, and you go in a different way than you've gone before. You had the opportunity before you hired Mike McCarthy to go young. He's not really been his way. So maybe it's time to turn face and do something different. And there's a lot of potential on that team. It wouldn't take a lot to get that offense humming. Obviously, you've got to get players fit and everything else. But they've just missed. They've just missed in big ways. They missed on Derrick Henry, like we couldn't afford $6 million and whatever else. And Jerry Jones is like he's like the Scrooge McDuck of the NFL. He's just got like cash to burn. I'm sure he has. I'm sure he goes swimming in it. It's just crazy to me. Like, just do the right thing. Do the things that will get. It'll be funny because when Jerry Jones steps down and somebody else takes over and relinquishes that control and gives it to like to a proper, a properly football-minded guy in the right positions below him. I mean, you'll see this franchise turn itself around again pretty quickly. But he's just so long in the tooth and so stubborn that I just can't see that happening.
Let's spin it into a different phase of like Johnny, not just sort of like getting maybe younger head coach and stuff like that, but we've also got to look at like the franchise and the team as a whole. I mean, when you look at it, CeeDee Lamb, big contract, Dak Prescott, big contract, Trayvon Diggs, big contract, Terrence Steele, Tyler Guyton's not on a huge, crazy amount of money, but DeMarcus Lawrence, big money, Brandon Cooks, big money, Zach Martin, big money, Trey Lance is coming to sort of the end of his big money. You've got a lot of players who are coming up this year, notably DeMarcus Lawrence, Brandon Cooks, Zach Martin, also Odighizuwa, Chauncey Golston, Eric Kendricks. Some of these guys are young, admittedly. I mean, Zeke as well. I doubt he's going to be coming back. Like you look at that, and then you look at also the 23rd in cap space currently in 2025, 17th in cap space currently in 2026. Their draft capital they're currently the 11th pick, but 5 other teams have 3 wins. They've got 1 in the 2nd round, 1 in the 3rd round, 4 picks in the 5th round, weirdly, and 2 picks in the 6th round. Like, it's the aim for this offseason got to be, we need to get cheaper and younger. If we're going to pay our quarterback, we've got to be utilizing the draft more and getting guys cheaper and getting younger guys around him and being more proactive with their money. Because at the minute, for me, DeMarcus Lawrence doesn't get re-signed. Brandon Cooks doesn't get re-signed. I think Zach Martin has been a tremendous guard, but I think that's sort of going away now. He's gone for me. People like Odighizuwa, 22, admittedly, been pretty decent. I'd probably keep him around. And also the creeping one, which is Micah Parsons, which is coming up very soon as well. And he's going to want to get paid early, and he's going to want to be paid the top money in the NFL. So then they're going to need to get cheaper. They've got to get cheaper, haven't they?
100%. But I mean, Jerry's sending mixed signals by trading a 4th rounder for Jonathan Mingo, who's done absolutely next to nothing in the NFL. I genuinely don't know where this franchise goes, unfortunately, with Jerry Jones. I saw that exact clip that James referenced from Rex Ryan, and I think he spoke a lot of truth. Like, we've seen over the last couple of years these real like out there leaders like Dan Campbell, not necessarily the best coaches in the NFL, but people that can just rally a locker room. And I think if anyone needs that, it is Dallas, because they are, they're the biggest franchise, the most pressure on them. They're America's team. They need someone to galvanize, because I'm sorry, I just don't. I said in the offseason that Dak has his moments. I think he's a good quarterback, but I don't think he is the leader that the Cowboys need. And I think, unfortunately, until he goes, obviously he's going to be sticking around. He's obviously out for the rest of the season, but he's going to be sticking around for a fair amount of time. I just don't know where this team goes. And to exactly your point, they've got to pay Micah Parsons, who will become the most expensive defensive player of all time. It's really, really difficult to see where they go. For me, I think they go for that sort of leader rather than someone young. I think Mike Vrabel would be an absolute steal going into the Cowboys. And then exactly what you say, I think get rid of the sort of old guard. They started doing that with their offensive line, but really start to rebuild in those sort of trench positions. I don't know. I think someone like Vrabel can get the run game going, which has been obviously a huge disappointment for the Cowboys over the last few years. If they can start somewhere, then I think it really has to be in the trenches. And yeah, I think he could be someone that balances that relationship with Jerry Jones quite well. He's a proper football guy, and I think he will be itching a bit to get back into coaching after a disappointed end to his time in Tennessee. It's really difficult. Jerry Jones is obviously he's always an optimist, but I'm really struggling with this Cowboys team. I have been for the last few years, and I think this year, with injuries, and I think people could just see it a mile off when Dak got that contract. It's just come crashing down all of a sudden. So yeah, hard to see where they go from here, but they will have some. They'll have a high draft pick, I think, next year. So what they choose to do with that will be very, very interesting.